Hello. Welcome. One more day. How are you doing? I hope that you had a fantastic weekend and start of the week. And you've been painting and drawing a lot of cool stuff. And yeah, so let's begin. Change here the screen. Okay, let's continue with our elf warrior slash I don't know, guardian or sentinel or bodyguard. So yeah, I haven't touched it since last stream. Been quite busy or surprised during the week. So yeah, hopefully we can give a nice push today. Let's see. All right. Yeah, everything is in place. All right. It's, I don't know how it is where you are, each one of you at the moment, but here where I am, it's quite warm. I mean, it is not as crazy as plenty of places, but when you are used to the temperatures here in Sweden, when it's a little bit hotter, then you really feel it. And I'm from Spain, so which is super hot all the time. But after so many years here in Sweden, I kind of struggle with heat. All right, I need also to start the recording of the process as well. Okay, so just a small recap for what we were aiming for this elf warrior guard or whatever. So yeah, she's supposed to be of some sort of wearing some sort of ritualistic or ceremonial type of costume and attire. So perhaps it's not the most practical, but it's just to underline certain status on the society where she is from. To communicate certain social status, I guess. So I have most of the main things are already on the piece, so I guess it's gonna be quite chill process from here forward because I don't have to think much. Sorry, I was eating some nuts and it just like itching on the throat. All right. So yeah, let's focus a little bit. I want the background to kind of around this area here, kind of uh, merge a little bit with the hair. Um, I think I mentioned this on previous streams. Since I'm painting a fantasy character that I've been listening to a lot of things about Lord of the Rings. As you may know, I'm a huge fan of Tolkien's work. I have read everything several times. But it has been quite some time since. And eventually I always get back to Tolkien's books because it's been such a influential piece of work for me as a person, right? As an individual. I mean, I'm always been very dreamy and always so much interested in tales and fantasy worlds and stuff like that. And yeah, for me, discovering Tolkien's work was just like the best that could have happened, right? So anyway, I have gone through a period where I haven't paid much attention to it. You know, like I kind of put it on the back of my mind and didn't thought or anything about it until very recently because of the Rings of Power TV series and how could I word it properly? How it seems, because without having seen it, it's I think it's a quite grave mistake to judge things without knowing. So, but it seems or give the impression that it's not gonna be good as a lover of the books and etc etc. So anyhow, I'm just digressing. So I've been because of that. It's just like kind of went back to my thoughts about Lord of the Rings and just kind of started to awaken my interest back to it. And I'm starting to get very inspired to do an illustration based on Lord of the Rings, which, I mean, considering how big it's been for me, it's quite insane that I haven't painted anything ever about Lord of the Rings. I mean, back in the day when I used to play a lot of tabletop role games, the one that I played the most was Lord of the Rings, and I painted and draw plenty of characters for me and for my friends, etc. But that's it, which is kind of shameful, if I'm honest. So I'm starting to feel certain creative urge to do some illustrations for the Lord of the Rings. Um, yeah. So, but I have my hands full. Hey Juan, how are you doing? Welcome. How are you doing, man? Uh, I have my hands full with so many things at the moment, so I don't see when. I mean, well, of course, I could actually start during the stream. I don't know if you have started to see certain pattern with the type of things that I engage with during the streams, but I have started plenty of pieces, and plenty of them I haven't touched them or finished them, and it's starting to become a trend. That doesn't mean that I'm completely forgetting it and never gonna touch them. It's just that I'm I like to explore and do plenty of things, not just 40k stuff. So, and since I have so little time, that means that whatever I engage solely for the streams means that for the most part I only have the time to paint it during the streams, and that means that it's stretched in time forever, and that's kind of tiring. So I think that's my rationale to explain it. So, like, I don't know if you remember the Perturabo Demon Prince version that I started. I put it on pause with the thought of going back to it, and that's still the plan. And like him, plenty of other characters that I have started during the stream, like the sequential illustrations of 40k stuff like that. So it's just I need to change topics and stuff to keep my interest. So I'm expanding my lineup of unfinished paintings and sketches quite a lot since I started streaming. I think, I mean, yeah. For instance, I think this character here, this will get finished because it's relatively straightforward. I didn't have to think too much and to put too much thought into it, and I think I've been quite lucky from the very beginning, kind of getting into what I was aiming for. So yeah, it's gonna be one of these that it's yeah, quite fast. I like Beals. Hey Miguel, longtime fan of your work as another concept artist. Co-worker of mine started at Fat Shark recently, and I was like, see if Miguel is still there. Appreciate the YouTube breakdown you have been doing. Alec, welcome to the stream. Thanks a lot for the kind words. And well, that's pretty cool about your friend and coworker. The thing is, I don't work at Fat Shark. I'm not an employee of Fat Shark. I work as a contractor for them. So I don't think he will. Yeah, I never been set foot on Fat Shark office yet. Um, but I would love to, and if I get to do at some point, would be nice to know who it is. But I mean, I believe now Fat Shark has become pretty big, so I think they have plenty, a lot of people anyway. But yeah, cool. Thanks. May I ask, where are you working? Since you say that you are also another concept artist, love to know if that it's okay to ask, of course. But yeah, that's one thing that I enjoy so much about the internet and social media stuff. Even though I dislike social media, even though I still have to use it for work. But it's the possibility of meeting so many people, and here on the stream, the fact of interacting with so many colleagues and fellow artists, and it's awesome. I love it. If there would be any caveat, for example, for this format of the streaming, is that is not the best way of communicating, right? Because I feel that I would love to give more room for you people just to be able to talk, but this is so limiting, just the fact that you can only write on the chat box. And well, the good thing about being such a small stream is that yeah, it's easy to follow. So at least that's good. But yeah, still not the best way of communicating. But still, I appreciate it quite a lot. And Alec, thanks also for saying something. Even though it's still quite okay to be a lurker. I myself, I tend to be more of a lurker as well, just doing my thing while listening. But also in relation with what I was saying, Alec, even though I'm not a Fact Shark employee, but I'm still working with them currently. Doing what? I cannot say, as you might know. Being sloth. Look six. Wait, not six. Sick. Hey, thank you, and welcome to the stream. Alec, I found out later. I was just so excited. And Great Elf. I am right across the street from Fat Shark at Paddocks working on Stellaris. Aha, all right. Nice. Cool. I love the fact how huge of a hub for video game development Sweden has become in this last decade. Well, I mean, a little bit longer, but now it's like really booming, both in Stockholm and also in the past 5 to 6 years, also here in Malmö, where I live. It's like so many studios everywhere. Yeah, you kick a stone and appears a new studio, which is always great. And so much talent, I have to say. I mean, it's not just that there is plenty of of studios and plenty of projects, but everything is kind of mediocre. You know, it's like there are so many high level quality projects everywhere. It's just like it's insane. It's difficult to say what's gonna happen on the future, but I wouldn't be and I hope that this remain forever. But I think it could be said that we are living an absolute golden age of video game development in Sweden, I think. Raymond, what's up? Hello, welcome to the stream. Well, here creating, painting some sort of elf warrior slash sentinel bodyguard of some sort. Mm-mm-mm. As a matter of fact, now that I actually think of it, that we are talking about Fat Shark, I have that shirt on. I don't know if you can see, but it's the Dark Tide shirt. And funny enough, actually today I was stopped on the street by a guy, and he asked me if Fat Shark was in Malmö, which I said no. And he said he was very excited for Dark Tide. So these type of things, I mean, they are very rare. It's been many years since I have experienced something like this, that people just stop you on the street to talk about a game that you are working. But it feels pretty nice. It's very nice. I mean, of course, he stopped me because I was wearing this shirt. So Raymond, painting partner for tonight again. Fantastic. Love it. What are you painting, if I might ask? Alec, my coworker who just went there is quite happy with them so far. I hope you have enjoyed your time there. Well, as I said, I'm working as a consultant for them. So I don't know how things are on the studio, but so far, the only things I have to say are positive. My interaction with the team it's quite limited, um, since I'm working from the outside. But the people that I'm working with, it's just delightful. I'm really, really. I mean, one of the facts that I'm still working for them after such a long time is because they are fantastic to work with. I love their professionalism. They are super nice, very easygoing um, to work with. Yeah, very very professional. They have such a vision that yeah, uh, I, I just have good things to say. So it's been a fantastic experience working with them. In every single aspect. And it's so fantastic to work with people that they know what they are looking for, and they have a vision and they know how to implement it, and yeah, it's great. Richard, Richard Superation. Hello, hola. How are you doing? Raymond, that same night I shared the other day, never finished it last week. Went on a date with a very cool girl. Now my brain is fried. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. It's difficult to focus in with these type of things. I hope that it went well, um, and that you're gonna have another date with her. That's cool. By the way, like normally I'm super busy, so I don't have time to interact much on the Discord server, but I watch everything, and very nice piece. I know it's work in progress, but there are plenty of very cool things in there. So yeah, nice. And thanks for sharing as well. I one aspect that I really like about your piece is that the armor, um, despite being a fantasy character, it makes sense. It looks like a real armor. So kudos for that. That's something that I really really appreciate. As a designer myself, I have very little. I mean, I'm very easygoing, but still I cringe with a lot of non like designs that doesn't make any sense. For in this case, on the subject of armors, and that they don't even work at all. They just for the sake of looking cool, even though in many cases they don't even look cool. But you know what I mean. Uh, I I mean totally fine that, I mean, if you are doing in this case talking about, if we dive a little bit into this subject, uh, sure, I mean, things, they don't need to be depending on what you are doing, of course. But let's say an illustration is like, all right, yeah, sure, they whatever you design that you create, perhaps it doesn't need to be 100% functional in the sense that somebody could put it and work. At least it needs to give the feeling that it's plausible and might work. That's the very, very least, in my humble opinion. And therefore, I dislike quite a lot designs that they are just there for the look with no reason. I mean, because the reason could be, for instance, let's say like this costume that you could argue, well, maybe it's not very, from certain perspective, you could say maybe it's not the best way to dress if you are going to be fighting with a such type of sword, etc., etc. But the context of how I'm creating this is that this is more like a ceremonial type of attire, right? So with that in mind, I'm totally fine if there is. It can be explained for the context of that character and that costume or armor. That, yeah, it's more like a ceremonial type of thing, and it's just for the look, basically. So then it's kind of okay. I mean, that's the only reason why I could pass something of that kind. But just when it is not the case and it just designs that they are just for the look but doesn't make any sense, and they are just silly, and yeah, I cannot stand it. A great example of this, I think I have mentioned several times on the stream. Even though I really enjoyed the Witcher series, on the first season, I'm not sure at the moment, but I get the impression that they made a change on the second season in respect to this from the first one, and is the armor design of the Nilfgaardian soldiers. It is just like so stupid. and looks so silly. It feels like some sort of armor that they have done for opera. You know, that is not an armor; it's just a costume. It doesn't make any sense. It looks silly, and it's obvious that it's over designed just to look different and to look cool in some way. But it's just, I don't know. I, I, I dislike it quite a lot. I mean, there are plenty of other designs on the series that are fantastic, but that particular design, I think, is horrible. In contrast, for instance, uh, for the same type of people, the design that they did on the game, The Witcher, is just absolutely brilliant, right? So they look unique. They have a touch that makes them. I mean, it's not like a just copied medieval armors, which they don't need to be, especially for a fantasy setting. But at the same time, you can see that they are real armors, that they function and they are inspired, and there is a strong and solid historical foundation in it, right? That, of course, comes from in a practical design for something that need to work. So yeah, it's like the two examples, right? The way that, in my opinion, is done in the right way and the wrong way. I don't know why I'm talking about all of this, why I'm digressing, but going back to your piece, I really enjoy that the knight armor looks like a real armor. So nice. Alec. All right. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, Raymond. Oh, yeah, she's a very lucky girl. I bet. All right. So I get that you will see her again. Arcvane. You ever take a job that is super fun to create all the images for except a few of them? Maybe three or four of them? If so, how do you get through the boring ones? Well, yes, I have. Yeah, of course, I have worked in plenty of super boring stuff throughout my career. Yeah, plenty. Well, uh, how do I have gone through that boring stuff? It's just like easy, just doing my own things at home. I think, of course, this is very personal. I know a lot of people just get back at home and they are just completely exhausted and they don't have any energy or will to continue painting or doing things, and they just want to do something completely different. I myself, of course, sometimes I feel like this, but when I'm doing things that are boring, the way to survive is just by doing things on my spare time that I enjoy, um, um, creatively speaking. So yeah, that's there you go. That's my answer, and that's why I think it's important. Even if you are employee, you have work on, you have a position somewhere, and regardless of if it's boring or not, I think it is important to also have your own projects and do your own things. But of course, this is very personal. I'm pretty aware that for some people they totally fine, and each have their way, and yeah. But for me, I think at least I need to. It is like an essential part of my being, that I need to be doing my things as well. I cannot be just doing other people's stuff. And of course, if those things are fun, like you are saying, then it's yeah, it's fantastic. It's like for instance, the work that I'm doing for Fart Shark. Uh, is I have no complaints. It's I'm enjoying myself like a little kid. It's fantastic. I love it. But when it's boring stuff, even more reason to be doing your own things, or at least myself. uh, Chuck. Hi, Miguel. I usually don't comment, but I have been on the stream lately. Just want to say I'm a big fan of your work, and your channel has been a gold mine to make my own art better. Chuck, well, thank you, first of all. Welcome to the stream, and thanks for saying something. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and I'm very happy that you are getting something out of the channel. So yeah, I don't know what to say, but yeah, thanks for saying hello and sharing. And if you are painting and doing things, please do share on the Discord. Uh, uh, I love seeing what all of you are working at the same time. And of course, I'm pretty aware that I would have to. Okay, let me just drop link on the chat. Let's see the team. Give me a second. All right, so there is the Discord. Raymond, oh yeah, thanks. Love realism sometimes to a fault where it holds me back. Well, but you know, I would say that it's not about realism because you can do completely fantasy stuff that doesn't exist, but it needs to give a sense of plausibility to some degree. So it's not about realism, but about being plausible or believable. I think that's the nuance. But yeah, I mean, I get what you mean. Sure. Raymond, form follows function. Just adding a bit of a story behind a piece brings it forward. Yes, totally agree. That's how I believe design should be. Raymond, yeah, it's when costume designers want to be contemporary artists. Yeah, it's difficult to, of course, to put yourself into the mind of the people that decided to go for designs like that, and I don't know if you can hear on the background. It's just my son is screaming. Sorry. Um, um, but yeah, I mean, there could be plenty of reasons. I have no idea, but at least myself, I dislike it quite a lot. Um, and I get it. I get that is a valid point. It's just like they go just for the aesthetics, but I think it, at least for me, it breaks the immersion, right? It just again going back to this point of believability or being plausible. It completely just breaks the immersion and fantasy, because I just don't believe it anymore. It just doesn't make any sense. Alec, all right. Thanks a lot for passing by, and have a good one, and see you next time. Chuck, I got into Discord. I think last time I was here, but thanks anyway. I will try to post something soon. I'm heading out to now. It's always interesting to be here, and I will be around. All right, take care, and see you around. Um, Going back to this subject of design and interpretation of things, and putting it together with what I was talking before about this urge that I'm starting to get about doing some sort of Lord of the Rings illustration. I was just navigating the internet, um, looking at illustrations of the Lord of the Rings. As I said, I've been kind of disconnected from it for quite some time, so not too much into the known of what has been done. Um, and to my dismay, I mean, I have seen plenty of super, absolutely awesome illustrations that I never saw before. But I have also, which was fantastic to see, like super extremely inspiring pieces. But I have seen an overwhelming number of illustrations that they are just basically, you could say, fan art of the films, which is totally fine. But it's just like, yeah, of course, uh, they had just titans working on the films, right? Um, John Ho and Alan Lee, but um, what cannot people just try to do their own thing? Is why just repeat what is being done already? And of course, it will be difficult to surpass uh, that vision, because it's just like some of the designs that they did for the film, uh, they are just perfect. But still, it's like, why don't you try to do something of your own? I think it's somehow I feel it's a little bit sad. And of course, I mean, there are certain characters that there is not too much room. Let's say the Black Riders, uh, and that shape that the Nazgul take. Well, I mean, there is not much that you can go from what they did on the films, to be honest, right? But there are plenty of other things that you can. I mean, I have seen, for instance, just to instead of talking so abstract, plenty of illustrations about Sauron, and it's just the the same look. I mean, this copied the design of the films, which is fantastic. It's just like amazing. I agree, but still, like, don't you want just do your own thing and I don't know. In those areas that there is plenty of room to interpret and make your own vision, basically. And not to say that, of course, you can be heavily influenced, but yeah, what I'm talking about is just replicating one on one the designs. Red Donuts. Hello, I started my computer to paint right now and see you're streaming. I want to thank you for explaining how to create an Astartes. Right? Um, you're welcome. And yeah, welcome to the stream. Very happy to hear that you are about to start painting something while listening to the stream. Fantastic. Cantabrian, hello. Hello, mister. How are you doing? How it's coming along the Emperor of Mankind? For those of you that don't know, he's working on a personal piece based on the Emperor of Warhammer 40k, which what he have shared is very little so far, but very, very promising. But yeah, going back to this topic about interpretations of Lord of the Rings characters and stuff like that. I mean, to be honest, um, I myself I grew up with Alan Lee illustrations for the book, so I'm let's say the way he illustrates and depicts the orcs. For me, I grew up imagining them that way. Um, so when I do any depictions of of the Rings orcs, they are inevitably are gonna look similar to his vision because he greatly inspired me, and of course the orcs of the films are heavily inspired on his orcs from his illustrations. So there's gonna be there would be obvious similarities there. So the influence will be clear. But in certain things, I would definitely try to put my own input and vision. The same thing with the elves, right? So it's the elves of the films are heavily inspired on his illustrations, which I also uh, always envision elves in the same way. So I mean, that's one of the reasons why I personally like so much the aesthetics of the film, and I think they succeeded so well, and it's because they choose to work with the two most influential illustrators when it came to giving life visually to the world of Tolkien. Raymond, have you done any master studies for learning? Um, well, now out of my head, I don't know, but I would say yes. Yeah. Not that I can recall anything specific, but yes, I definitely have done plenty of studies. Luis Ramon, hi Miguel, how are you? A pleasure to reach you. Well, like always, Luis, a pleasure to have you. How are you doing? Red Donut, well, I sometimes do watch my friends or streamers paint while I paint. It gives me ideas and motivations. Well, that's great. I think you are not the only one. I can myself see. I mean, it's the same for me. That's what I wanted to say. I have always enjoyed quite a lot painting and drawing next to other fellow artists because of that same reason. Raymond, John Ho is my hero. One of the reasons I pursue a career in art. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, some of his illustrations for Lord of the Rings are so iconic, right? Again, it's just kind of defining the visuals of it. I think one of my favorites of his is this one with the king of how do you say in English? Akmar, the Witch King, on the flying creature, just with the tower behind. It's just so awesome. So he definitely has some absolute, super iconic illustrations. I think there is another one that I really like of Gandalf, just walking around. I think that one for me was also one of my favorites. But for me, I think as I was saying, for me, it's between Alan Lee and John Ho. It's the absolute best. Cantabrian, I'm all good, thanks, Miguel. The Emperor is coming along. I have just about figured out the base form for of his main armor now. I have got some detailed ideas for the armor surface also. I want it to just be Baroque design for the sake of it. Good, good. I think that's an issue that lots of people fall into. I'm thinking of making his all armor like a mural to his evolution. What that's what that will be. That's just the fun part. Yeah, that's yeah. I can imagine. I think obviously his armor need to display a lot of details, because he's also an element to show his power and status. But yeah, how to put it and what to put there, yeah, I completely agree. It needs some thoughts. Um, yeah, let me share again the the Discord channel link. Uh, there you go. No problem. I need just to go. I need to go and take something. If you give me a second, I will be back. I'm back. Sorry, I had to check on my son. He's crying quite a lot, and I just need to put my ear just in case he's restart. All right. And I get the feeling that I'm gonna have to go again often. It's gonna have a busy night. So I want to give her attire a certain rustic look to it, like not too elaborate. Since I'm envisioning her like some sort of sylvan type of elf, from the forest or something. So the costume should look a little bit perhaps not rough, still but yeah, I don't know if it's the right word in English. My English is not that good, but yeah, rustic is kind of the word that comes to mind. I don't know if that's the proper term. Yeah, I need to go and check again. Sorry, we'll be back. Sorry about that. But that idiot is. That's how it is. to speak because I have to leave my door open. So I need to be on the watch out for my son. And as I was saying, he has a little bit of a difficult night today. So, yeah. Hopefully he falls asleep and we can have a calm and smooth stream. But yeah, I'm forced to speak not very loud. So yeah, sorry about that. And I hope that you can hear me fine. And going back to the subject of Lord of the Rings, do you have any favorite character? And I don't mean like any specific main character, but any character that kind of triggers certain fascination or intrigue. You know, like to get to know a little bit more about a certain character. I tend to be very fascinated by the evil characters. So the Witch King is one that I think is a very interesting and appealing character. And another one which is even more mysterious because it's barely anything been written about him is just the Mouth of Saron. come on. You certainly must have a favorite character from Lord of the Rings, films or the books, preferably the from the books, of course. I mean, it could be from any of the other books as well. It doesn't need to be Lord of the Rings, but could be The Hobbit, or any other. Raymond, also a bit busy, but have you seen House of the Dragons first episode yet? No, I have not. And I'm not subscribed to that streaming platform, so I don't think I will see it anytime soon, unfortunately. It looks nice. But as I don't know if you were here last stream. I can't remember. I think you were, right. I have a pretty a little bit of a difficult relation with Game of Thrones TV series, and it's because I love them, but I decided that I wanted to read all the books, everything before watching the TV series. So I just stopped watching the TV series when they reached the last book published, and since then I refuse to see anything from Game of Thrones until I'm able to read it. So that means that I might never get to read it. But yeah, we'll see. So I'm fine waiting. But yeah, I love Game of Thrones. I love it. But yeah, I haven't seen the latest seasons because they went ahead of the books. But everything that has been anything from the series that was according to the books, I think it was a good adaptations, and the books are absolutely brilliant. So good. And I'm saying this, I'm talking all the time now about Lord of the Rings and Tolkien and everything. The thing is, I'm more of a science fiction person. I tend to be very picky with fantasy fiction because for the most part I find it kind of silly, because it falls just in tropes and like why in so many fantasy worlds there has to be orcs and elves and dwarves. Why can't they be original? It's like for me just kind of it's I find it silly. I'm never been a big fan, for example, of Dungeons and Dragons, for instance, because of all these type of things. Even though I was a big fan of the Dragonlance, but that's because I was introduced to it when I was a kid. But yeah, so I'm very picky with fantasy fiction, and yeah. But Game of Thrones is one of these examples where when it's good fantasy, it's fantastic. I really, really, really enjoy it. But overall, I'm more of a science fiction person. Even though, once again, as I was talking about Lord of the Rings, the of the Rings has been so influential for me, as well. I'm sure like so many people around the world, right? Well, that's what happens with masterpieces of literature. Yeah, and sorry, I hate that I have to talk with this voice, but yeah, again, I need to be careful not to uh, awake my son again. Yeah, I'm even feeling tempted to to read the Lord of the Rings again. Raymond, the Balrog is the real victim in that story. He was only defending his home from the Fellowship of House Invaders. Yeah, that's kind of real. Yeah, I never thought about that in that way. Uh, yeah, it's true. He wasn't bothering anybody. Well, don't mind, but during, but Frogs, good evening. Just got back home. Hello, man. How are you doing? Hope that you are doing fine. Raymond, voice is good. We can hear you very well. Okay, great. was thinking about adding some scars, but I don't know if it would be adding too much visual noise since there's already too many things happening. I mean, even maybe if they are just this subtle, it could be nice details, perhaps. Yeah. Yeah, sorry that I'm a little bit more quiet now, but I'm a little bit afraid of speaking, to be honest. A bit afraid of just waking Dante. It's not the best for the stream, but yeah, I'm sorry about that. Um, to me, as I was saying, a fascinating character in Lord of the Rings is the Mouth of Sauron, which to be honest, I was kind of disappointed of how it was portrayed in the films, even though the design I think is brilliant. The visual design of the character is brilliant, but I think even though I quite like the Peter Jackson films, um, there are a few things where they kind of failed big, and one of these is that part of the third film, which is within the story of the books, is one of the absolute vital points in the whole story, and they actually fail at the film just to explain really what is happening and what are the stakes. And yeah, it's quite a big fail, which is quite a shame. And how they use that character. They on the book they never killed the Mouth of Saron, which is, for example, very much out of character for Aragorn to kill him there. I mean, I don't know. It just quite a big fail. But I like this character a lot because it's so mysterious, because there's barely anything written about this character, and at the same time he looks so sinister and so I mean, he's the lieutenant of Saron on Barad-dûr, right? So I don't know. Uh, that would be a awesome character to make an illustration and create a design for him. And again, it will be a very challenging thing to do to be on the same level of what they did for the design on the film, because I think it's just brilliant. Um, but yeah. Raymond, would you ever want to do a live stream with other artists and just talk? Oh yeah, I would love to. I think that I've been thinking about doing something like that for quite some time, but it's just I at the moment I'm very I have no flexibility to adapt to other people at the moment. So it's very difficult to make it happen. But yeah, eventually I would love to do that, like some kind of round table type of thing. So just to put some subject and talk about it. Um, Um, Cantabrian, on your topic of Lord of the Ring characters, I always wanted to know more about the Blue Wizards. Oh yes, yeah, so mysterious, right? They are just mentioned and little more. I think that's one of the aspects that I find so appealing of Tolkien's um, uh, how could you say, mythology, or yeah, is that there is so much room for wandering and get lost into uh, what might have happened at this period of time, right? When they are just so big events, and we barely know anything, any details about what happened and how it happened. And yeah, at least for me, that's one of the big appeals, aside from the big story that we get from um, the Lord of the Rings, or the Silmarillion, or the appendixes, right? I had the Blue Wizards. What happened to them? If I recall correctly, they somehow kind of somewhere it's been told that they become evil, right? They kind of felt into the spell of Sauron, or they just went to do their own thing. I can't remember, but they kind of just abandoned their original mission, and they kind of became evil. I, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Uh, just correct me if I'm wrong. I have seen some few more bits of the Ring of Powers TV series, and visually it seems very impressive, uh, which I don't think is a surprise for anybody. But again, as we've been discussing so many times already on the stream, I think that's not gonna be the issue. Well, I think I'm gonna be finishing the stream. sorry that I just went so quiet at the end. But yeah, again, Lord Commander Dante's been a little bit sensitive these past nights. Right, don't worry, I'm quiet too. Yeah, well, it's not the same, right? It's me who was that need to be talking to some degree. But yeah, thanks anyway. Raymond, that's an awesome name. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I like it. And the fact that there is a very well-known character in 40k universe with that same name is just a pure coincidence. Cantabrian, yeah, that's one of the stories, the theories. They went east, if I remember correctly. Yeah, yeah. Are you familiar with the Man of the West YouTube channel? He covers a lot of these mysterious happenings. No, I'm not. But all right, I will take it up because yeah, as I was mentioning at the beginning of the stream, I'm very much into getting back into my passion for Lord of the Rings is kind of firing up little by little in my heart. That's enough. So yeah, I would definitely take a look. Yeah, thanks for the suggestion, man. One of the things that I'm dreaming to do is to read The Hobbit to my son when he gets a little bit older. Of course, it's going to take some time to get there, but yeah, I cannot wait for that to happen. On that Raymond, on that topic, it's hard to talk and do art sometime. Do you think you are getting better at it? Yeah, it is indeed hard, but yeah, I think I'm getting better at it. But yeah, it is hard, and definitely it's definitely a challenge where when I have to do some level of design work. Well, I mean, literally, I cannot do it. I talk or I design. So for me, it's easier when I'm painting, for example, something, and it is at this stage where I don't need to think that much. Everything, the hard work is already done. So it's easier just to multitask. But if I need to put some real brain power into the painting, then yeah, then it's very very hard. Well, I mean, to the point that I cannot do it. Redone it well. What can I say about what I'm painting so far? I'm trying to get the natural feel of how to create clouds. I am using some weird color like retro colors. Then I will try to paint an X-wing in the middle. Nice. Talking about clouds, I will be painting a lot of clouds in the time to come because of my projects, the Brethren of the Clouds. So, yeah, I forgot to mention, but yeah, I'm working on personal projects, developing a science fiction universe around the theme of space pirates called the Brethren of the Clouds. And I have a Patreon page put there to support my creation process of the project. So you are more than welcome to go and check it up if you find it something interesting. There is not much to show. Sometime soon I will show something publicly. But yeah, super exciting project, and yeah, a lot of clouds. So you could say to a certain degree there's going to be a little bit of a cloud porn. And I'm not exaggerating. It's going to be so much clouds. Raymond, yeah, totally can relate. I streamed a bit back in the day, but that was a reason I cannot stop. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm streaming more than anything for the pleasure of talking to you and everybody. I really enjoy it, but it's I cannot be 100% into the painting process because I cannot. It's impossible. So I like quite a lot the conversation part and the possibility of interacting with all of you, and yeah, it is great. And getting to know more people, etc., etc. So that's what I really enjoy. But yeah, it's challenging. Red Donut. Oh, definitely gonna watch on that whenever you stream it. Well, I'm afraid that I'm not gonna stream that because that's just patrons only. So it's very, yeah. So that's exclusive content. Everything that I'm gonna be working for my personal project is just. It's not gonna be available publicly unless you are a patron, except for some few things that I will be dropping here and there to kind of show a little bit of what it is about. But yeah, sadly, if you want to see anything, you will have to be a patron. Raymond, nice. I will go check out your project. A bit of a world builder myself. I mean, I will go check out the Patreon. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean, don't be feel any pressure. I'm just mentioning just in case. And yeah, if you don't find it interesting, then you just go and do your business. But yeah, nice man that you are into world building. It's I love it. And I'm kind of tired of doing this for big corporations and studios, and I was about yeah, kind of it's time that I do it for myself, and so this is it. It's a main world building project, and it is awesome. It is. I'm very, 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 very excited, and I'm super. I absolutely um, um, believe that it can be a great thing. I just need to do it only, make it to fruition. But yeah, red donuts. Can give red donuts. Well, I would love that, but I'm on a diet. So yeah, in other circumstances, I could say yes. But yeah, no worries. Again, it's don't feel any pressure. Just if you find interesting, then yeah, go. Of course, go ahead. But we'll very very happy about it. But yeah, it needs to be under the condition that you genuinely find it interesting, and you think you want to contribute to this ambitious project, because it's very ambitious. And of course the limiting factor at the moment is time, right? The the more money I can get on the side, the more time I will be able to invest into the project and make it advance faster. So yeah. Raymond also busy creating a story, my own comic, but had to put it on hold. Life happened. Yeah, poof, and especially comic. That's a biggie. Yeah, comics are a hard thing to create. Uh, yeah, I understand. Uh, yeah, comics are a super hard thing to do. I have the biggest respect for comic artists and or comic creators, not just artists. Sometimes they just do also the story. So yeah, and I love comics, by the way. Big collector. Red Donuts. World building is amazing. Thing about how I see it sometimes. Things need to connect and give it a sense. Along the characters' designs. Yes. One cool thing about this project, I think, is that it's not just about the the world itself and everything about it, but it's as well about the very facts of world building process. So part of the first iteration of the project is to publish a series of books, um, where I display this world, right, through characters, through environments, designs, vehicles, and snippets of story to kind of get a sense of the world and the setting and lore. And it's kind of a hybrid type of books, right? So in one way, it's like an art book with a rich display of yeah, concept art, designs, illustrations, etc., and rich lore, and a mix of a deductive book focused on world building, since that's kind of my expertise as well. So kind of guiding the view, the reader into the whole process from the very start and going through all the creative paths and decisions that need to be done, and why certain things are rejected, why certain things are taken, what are the premises, etc. And so guiding the reader through through that whole process and getting into nitty-gritty of the design process of everything. So yeah, I think it's very interesting. But all right, I really need to go. I can go a little bit more into detail next stream. Raymond, yep, you get it. On project where you can control everything about your own story, and it doesn't matter if it's super big as long as you love it. Yeah, exactly. Arcvane, would it a similar format to Trent? Can you guys Twilight Monk books? Well, I'm afraid I'm not familiar with those, but I will check it up for sure. Raymond, that's actually a better way to go about it. Make a portfolio of art for an IP and create some backlore, almost VSTEF IP. Yes, kind of, to a certain degree, yes. Tasty, hey, how are you doing? Yeah, you barely made it. I'm about to close the stream, but yeah, happy that you made it at least the tiny part. Right down it. All good, man. It's nice to see you work on your piece here. I have been observing and learning a thing or two from this stream. Again, thank you for streaming. Well, my pleasure. Again, I love doing it and talking to you guys. All right, now I really need to go. Absolute pleasure talking to you, and yes, take care. Paint and draw a lot. Have fun doing it. Take care, stay safe, and hopefully see you next week. And maybe I should talk a little bit about my projects again, just to take the opportunity. I think it could be interesting, and about some of the reasons why I wanted to do it, and all of that. All right, take care, everybody, and again, thanks for joining the stream. Bye bye.